What is going on, you guys? AK-40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. So I've had my hands on this bad boy for about a month. This is the Motorola Moto E 2020 edition. Pretty solid Android phone, especially for the fact that it retails for $150, but you can find it constantly for $120 on Amazon. I think Walmart even sells them. I do have it linked in the description below, and I do have a full review of this as well. That I will have linked in the description below. Overall, just for general cell phone use, web browsing, application use, stuff like that, it's a pretty solid phone. I have also gamed quite extensively on it. I've played Fortnite, Cod Mobile, and PUBG on this, as well as a couple of other phone games like Subway Surfers and Temple Run. And I want to touch on gaming on a $120 phone. So my personal phone that I've owned for about 2.5 years now is an iPhone XR. That's what's recording this video right now. And I know I'm due for an upgrade. 10R is a little outdated now, I'm aware. But I'm not a big mobile gamer or anything like that. In fact, I hadn't even touched mobile games in a while until about a month ago when I discovered how awesome they've gotten, how far they've come over the last few years. Like when I started playing Cod Mobile like a month ago, I was really surprised by how in-depth the game is. The fact that there's a character class creation, gunsmithing, kill streak perks, and then the actual core gameplay itself seems smooth and fluid. The maps were real Call of Duty maps. The shooting actually worked pretty good, even just for being on a touchscreen. Granted, you can use a Bluetooth controller or one of those snap-on controllers that clip onto your phone. So yeah, mobile gaming's come a long way. Now, going from my iPhone XR, which by the way, if you haven't seen my cell phone benchmarking video, I will have that link down there as well. My iPhone XR is in the top 84 percentile of iPhone XRs as far as graphical performance is concerned. Because you could have the exact same model of a phone and it's gonna slightly differentiate between identical models because not all chips are pressed the same. Not all silicones pressed the same. You know, you might get a slightly faster graphics card or a slightly weaker CPU, even though you have the same model as your buddy. That's just the way that electronic components work. But anyway, stepping away from the iPhone XR, which I've done a lot of mobile gaming on, and then moving over to this bad boy here. Some things that I noticed. First of all, this only has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now, granted, the iPhone only has 3.78 of usable gigabytes of RAM. The rest is dedicated to the iOS and system memory and stuff like that, which iPhones are traditionally very well RAM optimized, where you can have less RAM and it still runs pretty smooth. Androids require more RAM. That's why the flagship Androids have 6, 8, 12, 16 gigs of RAM, which is crazy. That's like gaming PC levels. Now this has 2 gigs of RAM. It has a very budget graphics card or driver inside of it. Also the screen brightness, which is measured in nits or PPI, is very low on this phone. So when you're indoors, it's not terrible, but if you're trying to game at a bus stop or outdoors anywhere where there's natural light coming in through windows, it is going to look not nearly as bright as you would like it. This is also a 720p display, which at 6.3 inch display, you can actually tell a little bit of pixilation and whatnot. And when I played COD Mobile, it automatically defaulted all the graphical settings to low everything. The frame rate was at medium and the graphics were at low, and all the boxes checked for textures and shaders were turned off. When I launch it in the XR, everything was at high. So, you know, there's obviously a difference there. It did seem like the frame rate was a little bit more choppy. There were no moments where it felt like it was under a strobe light and it was unplayable or anything, but it was noticeably a consistently lower frame rate. I'm guessing about 28, 30 frames. I didn't have a frame counter in the screen or anything like that, but it's much more fluid and noticeable on the iPhone XR, which again is a older iPhone. I can only imagine what a flagship Android or iPhone device would perform like now. I do plan on getting several mobile devices on this channel in 21 to review and do gameplay videos for you guys, how to optimize those phones for the best gaming performance, reviewing some of the best Bluetooth controllers for mobile gaming, stuff like that. But I will say, yeah, the PPI being low, the brightness isn't great. 720p versus 1080, 1440, or even 4K display didn't look great by any means. And the fact that everything had to default down to low, and I did try and put settings on high, and some of the settings I couldn't even select as high. It just senses that the hardware in the phone can't handle it. And then when I did have the settings boosted up, it got really bad. The frame rate was super low. It really was kind of choppy. So you can game on this. It is definitely doable. I was still able to play the 3 games that I mentioned, Fortnite, PUBG, and COD Mobile. But you definitely do notice that you're on a $120 smartphone. But if you're on a budget or something, this will work for you guys. You can game on it. Also, the last thing I want to touch on that really did put a hamper on my gameplay is the speaker. This is not stereo, it's a single or mono speaker output. And right where it's located is right where you grip it with your hand to game. So the sound quality, I noticed many times my finger would accidentally hit that speaker port, and I had to hold it in a special way, kind of cup it like this, instead of holding it on the sides like you would naturally want to hold a phone for gaming, because it would block the one speaker grill, and then it would muffle my sound and whatnot. Not to mention, when you're gaming, you kind of want a good stereo spread. So that's why gaming phones have like a speaker here and a speaker here, so you can actually get situational awareness and tell if enemies are off to the left or right of you, get a good stereo spread. Granted, you could just pop in headphones or whatever, but I'm just chilling, you know, in bed or whatever, trying to knock a couple matches out, take some headshots, mollywop some guys, and scoop some XP before bed. I didn't want to have anything in my ears, so that really was frustrating, the audio quality there. Also, the phone does get hot, noticeably warm to the touch if you've been gaming for about an hour or a little bit longer. You're pushing the components to their limits for gaming, and it gets warm noticeably. So that's another thing there. But it's definitely doable. Like I said, is it ideal? Nope. Is there other phones out there that can do it better? Absolutely. But for the price point, $120, it is doable. You can game on it. All right, y'all. Peace.